In this episode, I am chatting with business coach Candy Motzek about what to do when your coaching offer doesn't sell. Are you there? Are you experiencing this? We're going to talk about why coaching packages aren't selling, how to fix your offer with some really specific ideas, where to do market research, smart market research. And it's something I have not heard of before, which is so good, and the mindset shifts that you need to stay in business and love what you do. Okay. And if you want to find everything in your computer for your business in seconds, then you need to work with me. If you want to save hours and feel more confident running your business because you have systems in place, you have your time organized, you know what you're doing when you sit down to work, then you need to come work with me, either through Organized Coach Academy or private one-on-one coaching. You can find both on my website at simplysquaredaway.com. Now, let's hear what Candy has to teach us in this conversation. You're going to love her. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. Candy Motzek, welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast. I'm thrilled that you're here, and the conversation we're going to have is going to be so good.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. And thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Okay. When I was thinking about this episode, I was like, I want to talk to someone because this has come up quite a bit in the last couple weeks. The coach out there who is not making money. She actually could be making negative money, like losing money in her business. And she or he already has the offer. They have their social media channels. They have this stuff in the foundations kind of set up, but nobody is buying what they're offering, or limited number of people are buying it. So that's kind of who I want to talk to today.
And just so we're clear that sometimes we're all that coach, right?
Yeah.
Like no matter what is going on, sometimes we have a little bit of a dry spell. And that doesn't mean that there's anything that's gone wrong. My coach said to me, he said, Candy, there's this thing. People go in the direction that they're facing. He was saying that because he wanted me to remember that I can either be focused on the problem and be facing the problem and obsessed with the problem, or I could be facing the possibility. And so the more that you get stuck in the problem, sometimes you just make it worse for yourself. But if you look at the possibility and what is actually available for you, you start to find the solutions. So sometimes it's that, but also like I've been in that place where I've had a dry spell as well. There's a couple of things that I think are really important for coaches, and that the first is, and if you're listening to this, I bet you've heard this, but maybe you're going to hear it a little different. People don't want coaching. Nobody wants coaching. I love coaching, and I don't want coaching. I want a solution. I want to get my goal, darn it. Like, help me fix this issue. Help me overcome this challenge. Help me reach my goal. But I don't want coaching. Right? Coaching sounds hard and nebulous, and nobody knows what that is. So we'll just start with that. If your coaching offer is coaching, I will coach you for 10 sessions for X number of dollars. It's really hard because nobody wants it.
Nobody wants coaching. So true. Even coaches. I love that you brought that up, but I want to go back to what you said a minute ago. It was that we all are in that space at some point, even if you've just made a huge amount of money or you've enrolled 10 new clients, the next day you're like, nobody's coming. nobody's here. Where are my people? And so I think it's so true. I'm glad you said that. We've all been there. We're all there at various times in our business.
Oh, totally. I have this thing that I do when I'm interested in signing clients. So I have a group coaching program, and it's for coaches and starting their business and signing clients. And I thought, it's been a while since I've been in their shoes. So I did it in December, and I literally decided, you know what? I will sign 10 private clients just for short little packages, right? And I thought, gosh, normally I sign people for longer engagements or for groups or for whatever, right? And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. And to keep myself honest, I told them, I said, my goal is to sign 10 private clients. And you know what? I did it. I did it like in 4 weeks. It was amazing and so much fun. And here's how I did it. I decided that it was a game. I
Mhm.
decided that it was a fun puzzle. I decided that it was an experiment. And that shift in how I thought about it made all the difference, because then when I went and I started talking to people, I went back to some of my past clients. I sent out some emails to my list, but I wasn't really attached to it has to be this way and it has to be hard and they have to show up for only this coaching package. I was like, no, I want to sign 10 private clients and see what happens. And they just showed up. I think I signed 3 in a week as well. It was great.
So you gamified it kind of, you made
Yeah,
felt looser, I guess is might be a word, about the outcome or about the specifics of it.
exactly. And I use the word lighter. So it's like instead of really holding on tight to it, I decided that it was like I had open hands and I allowed it to be something that was fun and that was engaging and that it would work. It would happen in the right way at the right time. And that when I showed up wholehearted and open-handed and made offers to help people, just genuine, authentic offers, people really resonated with it. And so it's this thing about being light-handed instead of grasping and trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Remembering that the universe wants to support us with this, right?
Oh, yes. Okay. So many coaches sitting there listening to this, and they're like, well, I kind of tried that. Where do they start? So if they have an offer and they haven't had anybody buy in a while or at all, where do we start?
Yeah. So we start that we think of our dream client, and the dream client is the person that you would love to work with. She or he or they is the person that when you wake up in the morning and you think, I get to talk to today, that's the person. And you want to give yourself permission to really want to help that individual. So once you know who that is, you think to yourself, what are the things that they might want some help with? And what I'm asking you to do is to maybe look at your current offer and see if you've come up with an offer that's based on I should, or an offer that sounds like a lot of work for your client. We want our offer to be something that our client wants. So, for example, if you were a weight loss coach, you don't want to sell somebody a weight loss coaching package. You want to help them lose the next 10 pounds, right? I can help you lose 10 pounds in 30 days. They'd be like, I really want that.
Mm.
So your package gives them what they want. So you have your dream client, and then you ask, what do they really, really want? And then you find the coaching package that helps create that goal. So now you're not trying to sell it to them, you're partnering with them. You're showing up saying, hey, I have this great thing. And your dream client says, oh my gosh, I've been looking everywhere for that solution. And now you're a match, right? Like,
Yes.
so it sounds easy, But I think that we get in our own head. Like, I think that it can be simple. So, for example, me, I work with coaches. I help them sign clients. I help them start their business. So, a great coaching package is for a brand new coach, sign your first 10 paying clients. Like, that's a dream come true for a new coach, right? Maybe it's, be able to get a steady stream of clients and be fully booked. Another dream to come true for a coach, right? Something that your client wants, and then you pair that with something that you can help them get. And now you've got something that's becoming irresistible.
I like when you said, and your client says, I've been wanting that. So you could ask yourself, is my client saying, reacting like, that's exactly what I want?
Exactly. And how do you know what your client wants, right? So some people might ask me that question. There's a couple of really kind of, I'll call them basic ways, but they are basic. We just forget about them. So the first one is we go and we find our dream client and we ask them, what do you want help with? Like, you go out and you do your market research. What do you need help with? What are you stuck on today? What would be a dream come true for you? You go out and you literally have conversations with people and ask them, what do you want? And then you take that away and you match that with what you think you can help people get. Now you're narrowing it down and creating the topic for your coaching package. The other way is Amazon. Amazon is the place for research. If you are any kind of coach, you go on Amazon and you look at the books. Like, for you, Tracy, if you were just starting out, what is needed for organization? Okay. You go and you look up some great books for organization for moms, maybe. And you read the titles. The titles are often really indicative of what somebody wants. You read the description of the book, and then you go and you look at the 3-star and 4-star reviews. Not the 5 stars, because they always say, great book. And the 1 star says, this book is terrible. But the 3 and the 4-star reviews, what are those people actually saying? Those are people who could be your dream client telling you why they bought that book and how it helped them. And that's research as well, right?
I love that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say to look at books on Amazon. Why have I not heard that?
It's such interesting.
So in going back to the market research, that's one of the things I did before I created Organized Coach Academy. And it was so interesting. So I had a list of some questions that I asked. I don't know how many people there were, 10 people. And one of the best questions is asking them what they searched for to solve their problem. And then those exact words, because nobody probably searches how to organize my business. But they searched for like CEO schedule, or a lot of it, like the time-based things were about organizing your time, and then how to implement systems in my business. So I am like, this is very challenging for me. And I've done a lot of work on wording my offer in a way that people say, I want that, because I'm so used to using the word organizing. And I don't think people think of that. That's not the benefit they're getting from getting their business organized. They want to save time, or they want to automate 10 systems in their business so that it runs smoother and they can take a vacation. But it is interesting. Sometimes it takes a lot of work to get out of the common words that you're used to using for yourself.
Agreed. Yeah. Like to get out of your own head and into the mind of your dream client. Right?
Yes.
And that's why I love like just those 2 things alone, just to read the words that they wrote or have the conversation with no agenda. Like I love your question that you said, what did you search for? Right. There is something about recording that conversation as well, and then get a transcript and go with your highlighter, print that transcript out, go with your highlighter. What are the words that you're seeing, the phrases? And as a coach, like there's something kind of fun about being a coach when you're designing a coaching package. As a coach, when we're talking to people, we're quite adept at seeing the energy. When are they getting excited? When are they feeling really flat? And so the places where you see their energy rising and they're starting to get excitement and they're starting to feel hopeful and like, "Oh, that would be so amazing if this thing happened." That is like, it's like the signal. It's like the green light. It's like, let's help them get more of that. People
Yeah.
want more expansion. They want to feel good in their life. So help to foster that. These little hot tracks are so valuable in the words that you use when you describe the program, maybe what you name your program. If somebody didn't want to be organized, but like, I love your system and you can always always be able to find the thing you're looking for. Like, that's what somebody might say, right? I can
Yeah.
find it. I can find it. Like, what a great program name. Yes, you can find your stuff.
Yes. And for my clients, it's like their shoulders drop, like they finally can relax when they're imagining like what's possible and they feel that hope. It's not necessarily the excitement, it's more like the calm, relaxed feeling. You can see it in them. That's so
Mm.
good.
Yeah, and I love that. So just to sort of mirror that back to you, if you were talking to a coach who's having a bit of a dry spell and they realize that it might just be a passing thing, this is a perfect thing for them to do. Go and have conversations with their dream clients. Like you said, if you're talking to them and you see that they relax or you see they get excited, now you're seeing, oh, maybe my program is good, but the way that I describe it just needs to be changed just a little bit. So use their language, use their body language, and help them to see what's possible working with you.
Yes. And even change the title so that it's totally got a whole new package around it that's more in tune with what they want.
Exactly. And when you're naming your package, you name it what they want. So in the example, if somebody who's maybe a weight loss coach, lose 10 pounds in 30 days, that's the name of your package. It can be as simple as, you want this thing? Here's my package. It's called the thing that you want. Would you like it? Right?
Now, something that comes up when you said that I hear a lot of people saying is, well, I can't guarantee that they can do that in 30 days. You know what I mean? So people doubt that they can help them exactly like that. So what do you have to say to that?
Your package wants to be something that you can deliver. So you may not be able to guarantee that that individual will lose 10 pounds or put 10 pounds on, but can you share with them everything that they need to know to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you will learn everything that you need to gain 10 pounds in 30 days. And you'll have support to go through the ups and downs of the process, right? So you
Yeah.
can guarantee them support. You can guarantee that you will help them know everything. And then
Yes.
in the coaching is in the implementation and the integration, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the coach again, same place. They're discouraged and they're feeling doubt, maybe even considering closing their business. What in their mindset? And I loved in the beginning too, I was wanting to come back to that. You said that what you focus on grows. I just read this quote. Whatever you say to yourself is true. If it's the negative part, then that's true. If it's the positive part, then that's true. But what would you say, like mindset wise, how do they, especially if it's been a long time and they've been trying to grow their business, like how do they shift to believe again, I guess?
Yeah. And it can be really challenging. So the first thing is, I would say, work with a coach, because sometimes we're so stuck in our own head that it's really hard to get out. So definitely go and speak with a coach to help you through it. Where do you start? For me, I like to journal. I recommend journaling every single day, but not just for the value of writing down the words, but to get clarity on what are you really thinking? And the reason that the thinking is important, like you said, is, what's What are you thinking about? Well, that's what you're creating. That's what, you're creating more of, right? But also, how are you feeling? And so often somebody who's having a tough time and they're feeling kind of down and they're wondering whether they should quit or they shouldn't. How do you feel about quitting? Is it a relief? Maybe your business needs to pivot. Maybe you are done with that part of your business and it is time for a change. And that's okay. Like every business has adjustments. If we've got a smaller business, like a smaller team, 5 people or less, you can pivot on a dime. You don't have massive, standard operating procedures or anything. So, how do you feel? Do you still remember why you loved this business? That would be the first question I would ask. If you still feel like, "Oh, I just love doing this," then you've got your answer that it's not time to quit. There is still something really powerful and meaningful for you there. If you're kind of wanting somebody to give you permission to pivot, this is it. This is your permission. If you've been resisting pivoting, but you know in your heart that it's time for you to make a shift, this is your permission to do it, right? So we look inside. How are we really feeling about it? And you might have some complicated feelings, and that's okay. That's part of it, right? So how are you feeling? And if you're feeling yucky or bad, you know that you've got some thoughts that are making you feel worse, right? So the place that you want to go if you're feeling yucky or bad is you want to write down, what am I thinking? I do this with a blank sheet of paper. If you were watching this, you would see behind me a bookcase that's filled with journals. And every one of those journals is filled with me starting with a blank piece of paper and I'm writing down, what am I thinking? I'm feeling disappointed. What am I thinking about when I feel disappointed? And I just write and I write and I write. And in that, slowing my head down instead of allowing my thoughts to sort of steamroll along, I'm seeing my thoughts and I'm starting to think, oh gosh, no wonder I'm feeling disappointed today. I'm saying to myself, this isn't really working. Nobody wants what I have to offer. It's been so long since I've found a new client. I'm really embarrassed that I might have to tell my spouse that this isn't working, right? So then you'll understand why you're feeling the way you are. And as soon as you can see why you're feeling whatever version of bad is, then you can decide how you want to react. Do I want to feel this way? I don't want to feel disappointed. What do I actually know is that how do I feel about my business? So, for example, take a blank piece of paper, write down my business. How am I feeling? I feel terrible. I feel disappointed. I feel exhausted. I feel disillusioned. I feel all of these bad things. And then just write them all down. And if you just do that and do nothing else for a week, you're going to find that you start to shift because you're going to see all the thoughts that you're having and you're going to know, oh, well, wait a minute. I might be feeling all bummed and I might be thinking these thoughts, but I actually know that that's not quite true. Like I can see for myself that I'm still working with some clients, even though I haven't signed a new one. The clients that I have love working with me.
Yes.
Right? I know something is working and you'll start to feel better. And that's all you need to do at this part, So give yourself permission to feel how you feel. Slow yourself down to do a little bit of writing. And if it's time for you to pivot, go for it. If it's time for you to stick with it, go for it. If it's time for you to think about quitting, that's okay. Maybe it is time for you to quit. It's not bad. It's just what you're ready for now.
I love that. And I love your voice. It's so calm. It's so accepting. Like, let's just look at it instead of the judgment, because I think the judgment comes up so much. Like, I can't stop thinking these negative thoughts about my business. And, I have done this for this amount of time and invested so much money. And if I quit, that's failure. You know, you have all these judgments on top of just your normal thoughts that you're thinking. So that is really, really good. Yes, and I was going to point out your picture of journals or your, bookshelf. It's so beautiful and they're so like the most perfect colors. It looks so pretty. I took a screenshot so I could show people.
We're very organized.
They are. But that was good. And I was even going to ask you when you first started that sharing about like, what do you do when you journal? Because you journal every day, you said, or most every day?
Every day. Every day. Yeah.
Yes. Like that is amazing to me. And even if anyone listening, but myself for sure, know the benefit of it, and I still don't do it. But what do you do? Do you have a certain time? I'm just so curious.
Yeah. So I've got a pretty organized life. I know that sounds funny, but I think it's part of what you teach, right? So every morning it's my favorite time of the day. Now notice that I tell myself that. It did not actually used to be my favorite time of the day, but it is now because I told myself. I get up really early and I have my morning meditation. I have some spiritual reading that I do, and then I journal. And then I get ready for the day. And that's just my routine. So I do it every day. So it's like there's something wrong if I haven't journaled.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to establish that habit because I have my favorite cup. I'll show you my favorite cup. This is my favorite cup right now.
Aww.
And I sit in a comfy chair with a fluffy blanket if it's winter time, and I make it a little sanctuary, right? So I chose to make it my favorite time. That pairs so nicely with wanting to journal because it's part of the experience. So that's how I would recommend getting into it. The second is tell yourself you only need to do it for 2 minutes, and literally put your 2-minute timer on, open a blank page, and tell yourself all you have to do is spend 2 minutes and write what you're thinking about right now. That's it. You do that every day for a week, you're a journaler. And if you do it for 2 days and then forget and come back to it, and then forget and then come back to it, guess what? You're still a journaler.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to a word keeps coming in my mind that you said, pivoting. When you are saying that it's okay to pivot, sometimes our business is there. I mean, it is time to pivot. In your mind, what does that look like for a coach? Is that just switching offers, or is that, I guess that could be anything, right?
Yeah. So I don't think there's one answer. I think that pivoting is something needs to change, but it doesn't have to be a big thing, or it can be a big thing. So if you think of what the definition of a pivot is, I think of it like it's like I have a lever and I'm going to turn the lever, right? Or I have like an old style manual clock and that hand goes around the central pivot point. So it could be, if I'm using the clock metaphor, your pivot might only be between midnight and 5 after midnight, or it might be from midnight to 9 p.m. It might be big or it might be small. And the place you want to go is what is making me, what's exciting? Where do I feel called? What is really interesting right now? So start by looking at what is calling to you. Maybe, who knows what your current business is? Maybe you have been doing group for a long time and you find the thing that's the most exciting is when you talk to individuals. It's like, well, the group is okay, but what do I love the most is when I'm sitting and it's just the two of us and we're having a conversation. All right, well, there's a sign, right? Yeah. It may not be a completely different business. It might just be a different way of delivering it. Mm-hmm. Or you're bored doing one-on-one and you just want to have a little bit more. All right, maybe that's your sign to look at having a larger group. So those are the places that I would look is what is interesting to you? What do you like about what you do right now? And what are you finding is kind of dull and boring?
Yeah,
And
that's
use that
good. I'm glad I asked that because that really cleared it up. I like sometimes asking myself what seems easy and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, that's the pivot is to chase that a little bit more. Not, I don't know if chase is the right word, but pivot toward that. I think of pivot, I think of basketball. Like you do pivot.
I don't do basketball. I'm like 4'10". There's no basketball happening.
That's awesome. Oh, and if you are listening to this, go follow Candy on Instagram and look at her she shed.
Yeah.
I went on there and saw that. I was like, what? You get this beautiful location. And is that considered your office? Like that is your office?
Yeah. It's where I am right now. Yeah.
Ah, it was so cool and unique and beautiful. So you can look at
Thank
that.
you. I
Okay.
love it. My husband built it for me.
Aw,
Yeah, right? I mean,
that
how
is
sweet.
so sweet. Yes. Okay. Anything else that we want to talk about for the coach who's feeling really stuck, like not making the money, not getting the clients that they want?
Yeah. Yes, there is a little bit more. So sometimes it's not just about the business. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're not making the money, if you're not signing clients, it might be just time for you to put your shoes on and go outside for a walk. Make sure that you are taking care of your body. Make sure that you're moving. If you like to move, whatever is your thing, go for a walk, go for a run, go to dance class, get moving. That will help to move your energy. You want to take care of your body. You want to make sure you're eating well, you're drinking water, getting some good sleep, and that you're being kind to yourself. And sometimes we're just so hard on ourselves that I don't know how to describe it. But if I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong and I'm thinking that I'm doing something wrong, then that must mean that there's something wrong with me.
Mm.
And then I get really harsh with myself. And then I forget to go to the gym and I forget to do all these things. And I think that I have to work harder and I get tighter and more harsh. Then the way that you're showing up in the world is how you are in your life. So if you show up and you're being hard on yourself and something's not working and I'm not working and there's something wrong with me, you are completely repelling the people who would love to work with you because you're just so tight. They can't experience that. They don't want more tight. They want more, well, let's see what would happen if we work together. Let's try this cool thing. They want that expansiveness, that lightness that is the solution for them, right? I don't know how to describe it, but really the way you are and the way you show up is going to translate into your marketing. It's going to translate into every message. It's going to translate into every discovery call and every client relationship and the way you talk about your offer. So be kind to yourself and lighten up a little.
And if you're in that tight space, don't start judging yourself because you're there, okay? You're going to journal about it and figure out and take one step to maybe planning some fun into your week or going out for movement and walking and, just one little step, 1 degree that you're going to loosen up a little bit.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's say there's someone out there, a coach, not even one that's just stuck in that spot, but tell us how coaches could find you and how you help them.
Okay. The easiest way to find me is to come and listen to my podcast. You're listening to this show, so come and find me over on mine. It's called She Coaches Coaches, and you'll see a picture of me with a blue top and a smiling face and some green background. And so that's the easiest way to find out more about me. The way that I work with people is I help coaches start their business and sign clients and become fully booked. And I have a specialty doing it with people who are introverted. that don't want to be dancing on TikTok. And so come and listen to the show. And there's lots of opportunities there to learn more about me there.
I love it, Candy. Thank you so much for being on here and sharing and just your love. I mean, I just feel love and acceptance for wherever we all are listening to this. And so I appreciate you sharing your tips and great steps that we can take.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.